Welcome, friend. Ready for a little Cooley's DBT therapy? Special focus on self-destructive zones. You heard it right. DBT therapy. And before I get in trouble with the grammar police, I'm not talking about dialectical behavior therapy, because that would be like saying ATM machine. Now, wouldn't it, friend? Now, before I get started, it's likely that you don't need Cooley's DBT therapy, which incidentally is just a made up thing. And it's just as likely that it wouldn't work for you. In fact, it's not intended to fix anyone or deliver any results whatsoever. So why bring it up then, right? Well, before I got into the new rock and metal scene over the last few years, I spent a good number of years in the southern rock scene, listening to DBT, also known as Drive-By Truckers. The songs of Mike Cooley from the band resonated with me quite deeply at the time. See, I was deep into several of the themes, including one that came up to me tonight in discussing self-destructive zones, which is certainly where I was about the time of 2010 to 2012, before I had the opportunity to meet Mike after one of his acoustic shows. Now, in my humble opinion, Mike is a master of songwriting and a lyricist. And this particular tune, On Our Tendency to Self-Destruct, Metallica would say that we're hardwired. It seems worthy of my review today. If we had more time, I could tell you why Hillary, Handcuffs, Hub, and Hilton all go together. But I'm afraid that's a story for another time and not one for mixed company. This is also a good point for me to pause and say, nobody's compensating me for this content, right? What you do with it is up to you. Nobody from Metallica or DBT or Mike Cooley has anything to do with this. This is just me and you having a conversation. So suffice to say that in the song, when Mike says, dead, fat, or rich, nobody's left a bitch about the goings on in self-destructive zones, he's speaking right to me. He was then, and as I listen today, he continues to do so. Yeah, been there, done that. And depending on the number of times you've been around the sun, you've seen this play out in your own experience, or for that of your friends. How many of your contemporaries died before their time? Who's next? It's kind of like that old stand-up comic joke that 1 in 3 people are ugly. Look left, look right. If you don't see it, guess what? But we're not here talking about appearances, are we, friend? No, we're talking about behavior. It's what you or I do when things don't go our way, or frankly, if they do, that puts us, potentially, next in line. Are you the next contemporary that passes in your peer group because of your behavior? Let's see what Mike had to say about that. Well, among other things, he said, the hippies rode a wave of putting smiles on faces that the devil wouldn't even put a shoe, caught between a generation dying from its habits and another thinking rock and roll was new. So here we are, each of us dying from our habits in one way, shape, or form. Okay, you're probably not. But many of us go through life thinking that we're somehow different or somehow immune, or that maybe it doesn't matter in the long run. For all I know, some of us may be right. It never does cease to amaze me, though, how inclined I can sometimes be to repeat some of those old patterns. Some of those old habits want to come back. It's not always easy to admit and accept that some things have to end for others to begin and for new things to grow. What's that, Mike? Oh, yes. When the dream and the man and the girls hang around long enough to make you think it's coming true, it's easier to let it all die a fairy tale than admit that something bigger's passing through. Ouch. I wish I had some advice for you, friend. Outside of go and look up this tune. It's a really great tune to listen to if you're into that kind of music at all. And if you're not, don't worry about it. But I assure you, if you are, you'll get a kick. I can't tell you how to handle your own tendencies or what to do about getting into or out of your own self destructive zones. Hell, you might even find me there. But maybe if we just ask a few questions of ourselves before this decision or that one, we can figure out what's drawing us to those forks in the road. Maybe we can choose to walk the righteous path, and maybe not. But that's not for me to say. That's for you or for me to choose. Make our own decisions. You know how you got here now. Question is, what are you going to do next? Now, maybe come back another time for a little more of Cooley's DBT therapy. You've got my take. What say you?